$630 for international students. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee because I get the distinct feeling that we're entering the election period. We're going to start seeing promises from politicians. If you've all been paying attention, Clive Palmer is running for the Senate here in Queensland. Now, if you love him or hate him, as a YouTube content creator, it's fantastic because, well, let me know if you see any Clive Palmer ads because he tends to flood the market with them. So we're going to start seeing promises. We're going to definitely start seeing more activity about the impending election. It's going to be interesting times. Now, this is not surprising what the Prime Minister has promised here. They want to encourage students back because at the end of the video, I'll point you towards a 40% drop in international students that we've had here in Australia and the implications for investment real estate. Okay, you've got universities, which are highly dependent on them, and they've got a lot of political power. You've got the property sector, which is highly dependent on international students, which has a lot of political power. And you've got the farmers and agricultural sector, which is highly dependent on backpacker and international student labor, which have a lot of political power. So there's going to be a push to do everything they can to bring the students back here to Australia. And while you have some people in the media pushing certain narratives about how Australia is a terrible place for international students, this, that, and the other, I think it's still a lovely place to come, and it's a great place to learn English, and the degrees are respected around the world. Not as good as the States. I mean, I was always told at university we were kind of the poor man's US when it came to international students coming here. And I felt sorry for a lot of the international students for what they were paying. You know, sitting next to me in class, and a lecture would be exactly the same this term as last term, or the semester to semester. You kind of get used to that, though. But still, let's look at this proposal. Thank you. PM reveals a plan to give $630 to overseas students and backpackers. Okay, written by Lucy Dean on Yahoo. The Australian government hopes to lure students and backpackers down under with the promise of visa application fee rebates worth $630. I don't mind that, to be honest. Honestly, all these costs that the government has just to do simple little things. I know I had a colleague that wanted to immigrate over here, an architect, and just the hoops that some people have to jump through. I was sitting on a BNI, a business networking breakfast, and there was a gentleman there, an ex-cop, and he had started up a business just processing visa applications or helping make visa submissions for people who want to settle here in Australia. And it was good coin, and they charge a lot for it. They really do. I wonder if it's changed back from the day when my father was paid to take a cruise from Europe to Australia to immigrate. Back then, from Germany, he applied for, what was it, South Africa, I think Argentina, as the Germans do even back then, the US and Australia. And Australia was the first country to accept him. So he wound up here. I can't say I can, I might be Argentinian, guys, if it was a different timeline. What do you reckon? Or American. So, Prime Minister Scott Morrison announced the scheme on Wednesday morning, with visa application fees for students who arrive from today subject to rebates. The rebates will be available for the next 8 weeks, Morrison said, noting there were around 150,000 students with visas who would be eligible. The rebates will be processed through the Department of Home Affairs. Well, you know what they're going to do. They're going to just spend the money in the local economy. What would you rather, it going to the government or bureaucrats, or that the international students and backpackers will have an extra $630 that they didn't realize they had? They weren't planning for this money. They'd already spent it. So psychologically, they're going to see this as a gift money, as play money. Okay, particularly if you're going on a backpacking trip. It's going to be awesome. The rebate is a thank you for them coming back and continuing to choose Australia, Morrison said. But we also want them to come here and be able to fill some of the critical workforce shortages, particularly those who are working and being trained in healthcare, aged care, those type of sectors. That will be incredibly helpful. Foreigners with backpacker visas will also be eligible for rebates for their visa application fees, with 23,500 backpackers already eligible, Morrison said. My message is to them, come on down, he said. Come on down now because you wanted to come to Australia, you got your visa. We want you to come to Australia and enjoy a holiday in Australia. Move all the way around the country at the same time, join our workforce and help us in our agricultural sector, in our hospitality sector, and so many other parts of the economy that rely on that labour. The visa rebate scheme is expected to cost $55 million. Tourism Australia also revealed a $3 million boost to market Australia to backpackers and students. I mean, here's the thing. You'll have people will come over. They'll study here. They'll do a backpacker adventure here. And sometimes they'll want to settle here. And there's nothing wrong with that. They get a taste of the country. They love it here. They make friends here. And they think, you know what, I will settle in this new country. We need to... Here's the thing. There's some people that are concerned with of migration coming over to Australia. Now, my concern with that is that if you have a rapid population increase and our infrastructure doesn't keep up with it, you're going to get a decline in the quality of life, which is kind of cheating the people who you're encouraging to come over to your nation. So we need to make sure that our infrastructure is suitable to handle that. Potable water is the one that I'm watching. I don't want to see us not having sufficient potable water in the long term. And we looked at that in a video some time ago, just how it hasn't kept up with population growth. So the people who are... It's funny, you'll have people on the left who want to open the borders and bring everyone over, but they'll also be against building dams because of the environmental impact. Now, you can't have it both ways. You can have a bigger country with more people. That's one thing that Australia needs. We're still a very small country, but we need to have some more cities, we need to have more potable water, and we need to have a better public transport system. And probably energy that isn't at the whims of Greta, the environmentalist god. Maybe some nuclear power or a few extra coal plants to provide cheap energy for all these people. But there we go. It comes as Australia experiences a damaging worker shortage as Omicron's rapid spread threatens to force as many as 10% of workers or 1.3 million people into isolation and quarantine. Unions have threatened to strike over concerns that lack of access to rapid antigen tests is fostering unsafe workplaces. Well, I went and bought a rat test yesterday. I was at Coles and they had a little sign there. I managed to get some meat, guys. I got my mince. I got some chicken. This is when, we try and do monthly shops, but then occasionally I'll have to do a top-up shop if we haven't really got everything for the big month because of shortages. And that's when I go out shopping. And I think, oh yeah, it'll cost $20, $30. Oh, I'm out of date. I'm so out of date. Boom, dropping $50, dropping $70. There's inflation. But anyway, so the unions are threatening to strike. We saw them intervene and screw up the meat supplier Heise that was abiding by all the rules. No one had COVID in a week there. It was fine. But no, they're threatening to strike. Why is it whenever our nation is faced with a challenging situation, the unions are the ones that are screwing us all over? Just saying, keep an eye on them. The exposure of workers to COVID-19 is a foreseeable risk that must be managed. See, this is the thing. This is the thing here. Creating this situation where your boss has to mitigate your risk of getting COVID-19. So what will happen is, this is why workplaces will ban any unvaccinated from coming into work. Even if you don't even need government mandates, businesses will do it because the unions are pressuring them, saying it's a risk. It's a risk, and they need to be seen to be doing something. In the end, it'll come down to insurance. It'll come down to the insurance companies. Keep an eye on the US to see how health insurance adjusts by your vaccination status. And we'll have to see here for Australia if it actually manifests in some of our insurance products. But the insurance industry runs a lot of the world, everyone. That will have a huge impact. And that will make the real decisions. If there's no risk, the insurance will go down. There you go. So, that's kind of off topic for this video, but do you think I'll put a poll up. Should a workplace be responsible for mitigating people's risks to COVID-19? Because you'd have no idea where you get it most of the time now. The supply of free rats would enable workers to contribute to the management of workplace infection reduction, especially in high-risk settings. The federal government has signed contracts worth tens of millions for the supply of rapid antigen tests this week, but it is not clear where the tests will be deployed or when they arrive for use. Okay, so it's a push for free rats. So a few things here. Let's have a talk about this one, guys. I mean, I personally think this is a smart policy. The people have already spent the money. It's going to be a gift to them. It will help stimulate the economy. You want to attract people to come to Australia. We don't want our tourism industry to disappear. There's many sectors that are dependent on these international students and backpackers. So a smart move to get more people coming to Australia. What do you reckon, guys? Let me know your take on that one in the comments down below. But no, I think this is a good move. It's not going to cost too much. The money will all get spent anyway. So yeah, good to see. Some sensible ideas, finally. Now, if they could just permanently reduce a lot of these costs that the government are imposing on people, surely they could find some efficiency. $630 for an application fee seems insane. Insane, guys. Check out this video about the 40% drop in international students and the impact they have on just the investment sector in real estate. There's going to be calls to bring them back however they can, guys. Take care. I'll see you next time.